The kids are looking all right so far through training camp. Oh, and check out this new intro. Welcome to the ArmChair GM podcast.
How about that? Brand new intro, brand new Flame season. Looking forward to it. The music on that intro is courtesy of our friends, the Rocky Mountain Maniacs, local Calgary band. We will put their Spotify link in our description down below. So make sure you check them out. Really been enjoying listening to them lately. Yeah.
Yeah, Dylan introduced them to me, I guess, a few weeks ago, and yeah, I've been a big fan of what they're putting out there. Apparently, they're doing a bit of rework on some stuff and just making things better. So keep an eye out for them on Spotify and give them some love, give them a follow.
Please do. Yeah. Well, let's get into training camp a little bit.
Whoop whoop.
Man, the Flames sure came out hot, scoring 6 goals in each of their first 3 games, and basically rolling over their opponents in each one of those, and then losing in overtime to the Canucks yesterday. Not that that's none of this is really indicative of how the season's going to go. Just good to see the boys having some chemistry offensively, and good to see the goalies not getting absolutely torched out there early on in preseason.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was nice to see them put some goals in the net, and I mean, so far, like even through the loss in overtime, the goaltending's been pretty good. It's certainly done the job. But it's exciting. It's exciting to see the kids try and fight for position on the main team, and obviously they're not all going to be sticking around, but it's good to see what they can do and kind of see where they're at with their own development. It's been a good show so far.
Yeah, it's been really exciting. I don't know how many games you've been able to watch. I've watched the 3 that we've been able to watch. Obviously, and needed to subscribe to the Oilers website to see the one half of the split squad game. So I just watched the other half. But it sounds like Devin Cooley put on quite a show in that game. I think he's actually probably been the best of the 3 goalies so far in preseason. And I don't think none of the goalies have been bad or even questionable, really. I think they've all been pretty good, but I think Cooley's been by far the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even in this little bit of work he did last night, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he got bowled over a little bit. I guess he was at practice today, though. So from what I gather, he's pretty healthy and good to go. But it looked scary for a bit there. He was down after that goal.
Yeah.
It must have been it looked to me like it was a groin issue or a hip issue or something. He just overextended and couldn't get back up for a little bit. But then he finished off the game, got scored on in overtime. But it's just preseason, right? The wins and losses don't matter.
No, exactly. And I mean, he's been pretty solid so far in the time he's been in there. And one thing I'm kind of finding out about him, he's a great interview. He seems to have a really good attitude. I'm assuming he's going to be one of those guys that's loved in the locker room. So, potentially a great addition to the team. We'll see what kind of numbers he can put up, and then see where they slot. Right. We essentially have 3 goalies fighting for 2 spots, and creating competition is good. It gives the organization a chance to see what potential return they can maybe get for one, or whatever the case is. Right, it gives them options, which is nice.
Absolutely. I'm still really intrigued to see, because I've only seen Vladar the 1 game. And I'm really intrigued to see how that hip surgery, because I was a big fan of him in his first year. Like, he was definitely, the backup So I have no idea how he would be able to handle a bunch of starts, but
Hmm.
um, he really impressed me in that first season he was here. And apparently he's been dealing with that hip injury for the last couple seasons, and they finally got it worked on. And I'm really intrigued to see how that, plays out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when you find out that he's been battling through something for a couple of seasons, it kind of makes sense because there was a sharp decline from his first year and a half to where he ended last year. It was a pretty drastic decline. And at the time, obviously Markstrom was struggling. It was just a real shit show when it came to goaltending in Calgary.
Yeah, and I mean, both of us were fairly outspoken about Vladar and his, quite frankly, pretty terrible hockey he was playing. Towards the end of
Yeah.
last season, actually, pretty much all of last season, and I just really hope he can get that back, whether it's to become a long term flame or to get moved, or
Mhm.
whether it's maybe he's a long term backup, maybe he's a long term starter. Who knows, right? Like,
Yeah.
it was just because I was also excited when we got him because I thought that he was pretty decent in Boston when he first started. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that, and looking forward to, like you just talked about, Cooley seems like a absolutely wonderful guy on and off the ice. He seems like he's he doesn't do the cliches, and that's refreshing. Like, he talks like he's a regular person, which you don't see very often in the media
Yeah.
with hockey players, which is really nice to see. He
Well,
lets his emotions come out while he's talking, which is really good.
yeah, I'm sure the NHL will get their hands on him and put an end to that, right? They can't have any actual character
Oh no.
interviews, right? They don't allow that. You go with stock answers and stock answers only, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. It all starts tomorrow. um
Yeah.
yeah. How was that 7-1 win tonight there, Sean Monahan? Oh, it all starts tomorrow. Oh, how was that 7-1 loss today, Sean Monahan? Oh, it all starts tomorrow. um
Oh man, the
Anyways,
boring Sean Monahan account was a thing of beauty.
it really was.
Yeah.
And Dustin Wolf too. Let's talk about Dustin Wolf. Like, I don't think he was like amazing by any stretch, but I think that
Mm.
he proved that he's ready to be, to get that chance full time in the NHL this season. Um,
Yeah.
and like, he's been very good, maybe not amazing, but very good. He's been great at tracking the puck. He's been good at movement and following and looking around players. I found it because one of my biggest issues with him last year was looking underneath players in and making himself even smaller. But I found him looking around players a lot this preseason, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, that is a good sign. Obviously he hasn't really faced any star caliber uh, opponents so far, but I mean it's a good sign. It's he's making adjustments. He's always been good at tracking and moving side to side.
Well,
Right,
he
he's
was
quite.
playing against Hughes and Pedersen and a couple other guys yesterday.
That's true.
I mean,
That's
not that
true.
it was, it's not the entire team, right? But it was,
Mhm.
there was a few pretty high quality guys out there.
Yeah, well, and when you're looking at the preseason, you got you are playing against every once in a while a couple of really good players, star players, but you actually get a bit of a break in between it, right? But
Yeah,
but I see what you
yeah,
mean for sure.
yeah. He also hasn't had the strongest Flames roster in front of him either, but that's neither here nor there.
That's
Um,
fair.
which is funny because they've been winning a lot, right? Um, has there been any forwards or defensemen who have really stood out to you so far in preseason?
Um, I mean, as far as defensemen go, I'm a big fan of Bahal and how he plays the game. I do like him out there. Forwards, Klapka is really building a case to stay on the team. He's busting his ass and he's working hard. Basically every shift, which is phenomenal. I like to see it. I've always been a fan of him, mostly because of his size and he's able to use it,
Yeah,
which is nice.
yeah, he's not like a Jankowski who has size and doesn't have any clue how to use it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Bishop really impressed me, especially early on in the first couple of games. I thought he looked really good. Um, Not sure if there's going to end up being a spot for him at the moment, but I liked what I saw from him.
Yeah, I
And
think for the most part, the top 12 forwards are kind of set, and there's
Mhm.
only one or two spots to go around. And as much as I agree, Bishop's been good, and Schwint has played a little, there's some of those
Yeah,
fringe guys that have been good. I think
yeah,
that Coronado probably is the only one that's got a real chance. I think
he
Peltier
does, and
only because they don't want to lose him on waivers.
yeah,
What's that, sorry?
I Coronado. I haven't been super impressed with him.
Really?
I mean, he's had a couple of flashes, but I find like through a full game, I'm more frustrated than pleased with what he's doing.
Really? I
Yeah.
found him to be kind of that way in like last season for sure, but this
Mhm.
season or this preseason so far, um, I mean, I think I can recall one kind of bad giveaway that I wasn't super pumped on, but for the most part, it's been fairly electric, either unnoticeable or electric, but not like
Yeah,
noticeably bad, which is
yeah. No, I don't think he's really been bad and done a bunch of bad things. I do think that there's been a bunch of cases where he's just kind of been floating,
fair
and
enough.
you can kind of see him away from the puck and not really doing much. Not trying to get open, not trying to, you know, you
Dig.
inject himself into the play.
Yeah. I don't know, like
Uh,
he leads the preseason in goals, and Honzek actually leads the preseason in assists and points.
Mhm.
Um, and Coronado second in the preseason in points, and I mean like league wide, not just the Flames.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's been impressive for sure.
yeah,
I
and
I have liked Schwind's game. He's at least putting in a lot of effort as well.
yeah, and Honzek as well. Like I know I went on a little rant last episode about not writing guys off because they're 19, um, and maybe didn't have the strongest first game. But I thought Sam Honzek has played really, really well this preseason and even back into the majority of that Penticton tournament. I think
Yeah.
I don't think he's got much of a shot of making the NHL to start. I'm sure he'll get some games in later this season, but I'm fairly
Mhm.
sure he's going to solidify him as a top sixer in the AHL and play out the vast majority of the season there. Um,
Mhm.
and I feel like he's going to light it up. I think he's going to be um, quite good in the AHL.
I think so too. I mean, he drives the net hard. I really like watching him play out there. The way he can streak in, even on that one goal he got um, against Vancouver. Just effort, a lot of effort, right?
A lot of effort, but also I found he's like got some sublime playmaking skills. Like his
Mhm.
passing. And I'm not just
Yeah.
saying this from his assists, because obviously he's leading the preseason in assists, but there's been some like hard to needle
Mhm.
passes that he's gotten through and like on the tape and some things that I certainly didn't see from the broadcast that were open that he saw that got
Yeah.
through and there was a couple that he passed. No, I think there was one that he got. I think it was Basha that Basha couldn't quite corral, but it was like right on his stick, and it was just a little too hard for Basha. But
Right.
that he's, I don't know. I'm quite hopeful for Hanzek.
Yeah.
again, like he wasn't the guy I wanted to pick at the time, but I'm uh, I'm quite happy with what I've seen over the past couple weeks here.
Yeah, he does have above average hockey IQ for sure. Um, he's a good positional player. He's got good hands. He's got good awareness of where his teammates are on the ice, which is nice. Which helps him with that ability to set guys up. You know, I think
Absolutely.
he's going to end up being a solid middle six on this team for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. And maybe just the last forward I really wanted to touch on is you talked about him a little bit earlier, Klapka. Yeah, I the net front presence and just the sheer
Mhm.
size. I think he's a little bit easy to move for his size, but he's still got so much size that he's not easy to move, if you know what I mean. Um,
Yeah, if he could throw on a bit of muscle, he'd be a force out there. I
Absolute
mean,
force.
he is pretty lanky, right? He's tall and skinny, but I mean,
And
he's a beast out there. He's what, 6'8"?
yeah, I think he's 6'7", but either way,
Mm.
he's 6'7", 6'8". What's the difference? Um, he's got really underrated hands in front of the net as well. I find when it comes to shoveling in rebounds or corralling those passes, those hard passes, and getting them off
Mhm.
quickly. I've been really impressed by Klapka, and I can't remember which game it was in, but he like absolutely leveled someone
Mm.
in the defensive zone, got the puck, shoveled it up to it must whichever one he scored in, because he scored both of his goals in the same game, but he
Yeah,
shoveled the puck up to somebody who then passed it back to him. So he got
right.
that great defensive physical play going, and then he rifled a really nice zone exit pass, and then he got going into the forecheck,
Yeah,
got the puck back and scored. Right,
absolutely. So
and
they
that's
have
that's
they have him
hockey
listed
101,
at
right? But
yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's a smart player out there, and he's not afraid to go in the corners. Obviously, I mean they have him listed at 6'8", 235. I mean that's a freaking beast.
yeah,
Like that's Bufflin. That's getting into Bufflin weight territory, right? Like that's good. He's
yeah,
he's gonna be he's gonna be fun if he can actually crack the roster. I think he'd be fun.
I totally agree.
The NFL is back, baby, and a new season means new ways to get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Ready to place your bet? Try betting on something simple like picking a player to score a touchdown, or place your bet like I do on your favorite team. Let's go Niners, and get ready to do a touchdown dance of your own.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
So I'm having a hard time seeing many of these guys. Like again, I think Coronado will, and I
Mhm.
think Peltier will be on the opening night healthy scratch roster only because they don't want to waive him, not because he's deserved it.
Yeah.
Um, and I said this last night during that Vancouver game and after the game. I thought Peltier had a really, really good third period,
Hmm. Yeah.
but the rest of his camp has been really underwhelming as far as
Yeah.
the games are concerned. Anyways, I don't know how he's doing in practices and line rushes and stuff like that, but I found his defensive game. He made a bunch of really good defensive plays in the third period of the last game, but other than that, he's been pretty underwhelming.
He's been totally underwhelming. It's been a lot of meh. I think for somebody in the situation that he finds himself in, he's not putting in the work to be noticed, for the right reasons or at all.
I'm not sure if it's
He's
not putting
working
in the
himself
work. I
into.
think he just might not have it.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, I don't want to write him off because he missed
No.
he missed the season to injury, kind of like Zari did, and then like a year and a half, a year and a bit after Zari's injury, he comes up and starts being this crazy good rookie that really excited us last year. So we never know, right? Maybe Peltier does that this year. That would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm not going to write him off, and I'm not going to, I won't be upset if he doesn't make the team. If he makes a team, I don't know. I personally think that other people deserve a shot over him so far in this camp.
Yeah, Stromgren as well. There's a couple guys, Coronado, Stromgren, and there's really not that many spots. Like even Hunt, I thought Hunt played pretty well last night.
Yeah, he played all right last night. Yeah,
but I think that there's just not space, and it really sucks because, I mean, the Anthony Mantha thing just confuses the shit out of me. Like, just because he's French doesn't mean he's going to be good with Huberdeau. Like, yes, they had a good game against the Oilers, the other day or whatever. But signing him when you're trying to rebuild and you have all these young guys who are about to step in just makes no sense to me. Like, we should be actively shopping some of the veterans and trying to probably sell one or two of them, not sign more. You know what I mean? We got to, and I'm not saying we have to open the spots for the players, but when the players earn them, like the Klapka and the Stromgren and the Coronado, who are earning them currently, they've got to be there somehow, right?
Yeah, they're exactly. If you want these kids to be fighting for a job, there has to be a job for them to fight for.
Exactly. That's exactly my thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you got Mantha, which you're absolutely correct. It makes zero sense, especially given where we are. Like, is this now if we can get Huberdeau on the go, holy shit, we're unstoppable. Like, Jesus, this is not the time.
No.
Find out which one of these kids can get them going.
Yeah, exactly. Or even like the Sharon Govich and Zari line seem to be working pretty good. And let's talk about them for a little bit. Like Sharon Govich and Zari and even Kuzmenko, like they've been playing very, like, it just seems like the whole offensive side of the Flames has been starting off really, really well. And that bodes really well for the excitement. You know what I mean? When it comes to people who want to watch games and all that type of stuff. Like, people are going to see some of these really exciting plays, and Zari lit it up. Sharon Govich lit it up.
Each of them with a couple of goals there the other night in the same game.
Yeah,
that was the Edmonton game, wasn't it? They both had 2 goals in that game.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be an interesting year, right? The way it's looking, we have potential to score a lot of goals. Of course, we haven't really been up against super competition, but we've been up against competition.
We haven't really played against a good NHL quality goalie either.
Yeah, right.
Like, I guess Archer Silvos, or I don't know how to say his last name. The dude who took over and played fairly well for the Canucks in the playoffs last year. He's a backup, right?
Yeah.
And he's probably the best guy we've played against so far. But still, the chemistry is there, if you're playing against a bona fide NHL starter, then that's, you might not have scored 6, but you probably will have scored 2 or 3, right?
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, they put 4 up against Grubauer. Not saying he's a world beater, but
Grubauer, I think he's had 3 straight seasons of less than 900.
Yeah.
He's not an NHL quality starter. He's just paid like one.
Yeah, right. That's all that matters, right? As long as you can fool at least one GM, you can get paid like one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's move on to some of the defensemen. Just because you talked about him earlier, Braden Pahal, I can't see a world in which he isn't on the full-time squad next year. Like whether he's on the bottom pair or a healthy scratch, we'll see. I'd like to see him on the bottom pair more than not, but he's probably going to be one of those guys who's cycled in and out for whoever is coming up and all that type of stuff. Like he's not an old player either, so probably not playing every game might be good for him. I don't know, but I'd love to see him play a lot. He brings something we don't have a lot of on our roster currently, which is just crazy physicality. He really loves to hit. And besides Pospisil, we don't really have all that much of that. Like we have Uyghur who likes to hit, but he's not going to throw himself out of position to do so or anything like that, right? He's more gritty than he is. Like he's more like he's going to push guys around more than he's going to level them.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's good at manhandling people, right? Which is, he's fun to watch out there. When I played defense as well. I have a strong appreciation for defenders that are good at playing defense, and he's one of them.
Absolutely. And I thought Pahal last year when he was when he came over from the Golden Knights, I think he came over and he just stepped right in and pretty much played way better. Like I don't think any of us really knew who he was, and he stepped in and provided exactly what the Flames needed at that time. And I think really was a good pickup. I'd like to see him continue playing lots.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like him a lot. He's big enough. He's smart enough. He's obviously not super offensively talented, which is fine by me as long as you're able to play defense.
Oh, 100%. And if you look at the long game of the Flames, like we've got Poirier, we've got Brstevich, we've got maybe Miramonov, we've got Perek, right? Like we've got all these, maybe Barry for some reason. We've got all these, good offensive guys back there. We need a few good defensive guys back there. Barry's looked good too. I know he's on a PTO, and I don't think either of us are really super pumped on keeping him around just because of the roster spot that it would be taking from a Brstevich or a Pahal or a Kuznetsov, Solovyov, whoever it may be. Right?
Solovyov. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't mind him as a player. He's not great at defense at all, but he's known as a offensive defenseman. So he's not trying to pretend he's something he's not. So.
No, and he's played fairly well. Like he's done fairly well at that. I just don't see, and it's good to have those good locker room guys. Like Barry's known as a really good locker room guy, but I just don't see a need for signing him long term or even short term. Really, I get the pump and dump thing. You might be able to get a second round pick or a third round pick for him at the deadline, which is all well and good, but I'd rather develop the guys we've got, such as Hunter Brstevich, who I think was hands down the Flames' best player in the Penticton tournament. Like hands down, he was the best player in that tournament, and I think that he has continued that into the preseason. He hasn't been the best player in preseason, but he's also playing with some NHL caliber players, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's really impressed. He's still making a lot of really sneaky offensive plays and not afraid to get back on defense and break up some plays going the other way, which is rare for a guy his age with his skill set. So that's awesome to see.
Yeah, no, he's been good. I think he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna make the squad this year. It's pretty tight in there. There's a lot of competition, but I think moving forward after this season, we've definitely got a spot in there.
Oh yeah, I think he's going to be a part of the long-term fix in Calgary, right? I think he's going to be, you know, whether it's PP1 or PP2 or whatever, he's going to be one of our power play guys. And I think he's likely going to, like, maybe not this year, but in the next few years. And I think I'd like to see him get a shot, maybe not at the beginning of the year, you know, maybe give him some top level AHL minutes for the next, you know, couple months or whatever. But I could see him getting, you know, 10, 15 games this year, just because I feel like he's going to force them to, right? He's going to be like, by merit on his play, he's going to show them that he needs to be given a shot at the NHL level, like given some games, in my opinion.
I agree. I think he's going to do very well in the A.
Yeah.
And I think, you're right. He's gonna force the hand and kind of force him to bring him up to at least play a few games this year. I kind of agree with you. 10, maybe 12 games this year, and then you know, maybe next year get him a more permanent spot.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Zane Parek's camp so far?
I can't put it. It's been a difficult one to watch, to be honest with you. He wasn't great in the Penticton tournament. He's had some moments, but he needs more development, in my opinion.
That's where I'm at as well. Like, you can see that it's there, and you can see that he will be a very good NHL defenseman, you know, in the future. But I just hate that he has to go back to junior, because I think he's too good for junior. But unfortunately, that's the way the rules are. He's got to go back to junior. But I think if he goes back to junior and spends the season working on his defense mostly, I think that could bode well for him getting on the team next season. But I wish he could play in the A, but I think, like you said, he's shown flashes, but not much else. He's just straight up bad defensively. And I kind of worry about him when he goes into the corners and you know, against NHL players as well.
That's fair. You're right. He's not physical. You know, I feel like he can run the risk of getting hurt. I think he kind of dances around those types of plays, though. He doesn't really knuckle down and get into the corners and get dirty. So I think he's going to be like a TJ Brody, right? You try and use his stick effectively if you can figure that out.
Yeah.
So at least, you know, he has something, you know, something
even
elite
Brustevich,
defensively
right?
to offer.
Like Brustevich isn't going to get in there and hammer guys, but he's learned how to use his stick over the last couple years, right? And I mean, that's big, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So go on.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, aside from Parek and Brustevich, there's a couple other defensemen who have actually really impressed me. I found Artem Grushnikov, the guy that we got back in the Tanev trade. He's really impressed me as well. He's not he's not going to go out there and score a bunch of goals or anything like that. But he's leveled a couple guys. He's made a couple of really big hits, and he's been really good with his stick and his body defensively. I don't know about his plus minus or anything like that. I haven't looked into any of that, but just the eye test, he's really passing the eye test when it comes to playing against NHL players. And I'm actually going to group a couple of these guys up, because I found Solovyov and Kuznetsov and Grushnikov are all kind of at the same level and have the same play style. Solovyov just absolutely pissed the Oilers off the other night. But like, I find all three of those guys are ready to be top pairing defensemen in the AHL and get, sent up at some point, given a chance at some point this season. I just like the Anthony Mantha thing in the forward group, like there's too many defensemen. There's too many Jared Genordis and Joel Hanleys and Daniil Miramonovs and all. There's too many of those guys who are older and not really, their potential isn't very high. I think we need to ship a few players out, even if it's for like 4th, 5th, 6th round picks. Just ship a few of them out and make these spots for these guys to, and Brustevich too, right? For all these guys to kind of cycle through, give them a chance to prove that, because I think that they all have proven that they're ready for the chance.
Yeah. Is Tenorti here on a PTO? What was the? I don't
Is
remember.
Who on a PTO? Sorry,
Tenorti.
No, he's on a 2-way deal. So so he will take waivers to send down, but he's not. Yeah. He makes less money. I don't think they're scared of sending Tenorti down, but I think they might be scared of sending Hanley down. And if they sign Barry, they'd be scared to send him down, and Miramonov, and they'd be scared. There's a few guys there that they'd be scared to send down. Jake Bean, who actually really looked good last night. I thought he looked really good last night.
Yeah, he had a strong game against Vancouver for sure.
And he was playing against the DeBrusque and Pedersen line for most of the night. So I thought he played really strong defensively. And then I think he got hurt, unfortunately. And I guess Kevin Ball is hurt as well. So we haven't seen him yet. So there's just all of these defensemen who look like they're going to be, 4, 5, 6, 7 defensemen, and we have 8 of them. It's just too many bottom of the lineup defensemen and too many bottom of the lineup forwards. I think we're gonna have to package a few of them up and get some draft picks or get something for them, because it's just it's hampering.
I think it has to happen fairly quickly too, to be honest with you.
I agree. And don't sign Barry, for fuck's sake.
Right. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sorry, just not right now.
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago, 100%.
I totally agree with that.
But yeah, it's just the time is not now to be bringing in these older guys like this. Unless your plan is to flip them for picks. But I mean,
what kind of pick are you going to get for Barry?
I was going to say, how many 3rd round picks do you need, and is that going to be the answer moving forward to build the team? I don't know.
Yeah, and with Mantha, right? You can probably flip him for a 2nd or 3rd, but is that 2nd or 3rd round pick worth holding Coronado back? Is it worth pissing off Peltier? Is it worth not giving Stromgren the opportunity he wants, or he's looks like he's ready for it? Is signing Barry or Tenorti, is that pissing off Kuznetsov and Solovyov? Is that holding Brustevich back? Is it you have to think about all these things too. And is that possible 3rd round pick you get for Barry at the trade deadline, is that worth holding those guys back and pissing them off? Especially you look at, I don't specifically buy into this narrative, but Flames fans are terrified of Americans leaving Calgary. And it's like, okay, well, Brustevich is American and Coronado is American, and right?
I don't necessarily buy into it. I understand
why
the thinking behind it. Obviously, taxes, weather. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I get it, but I don't really buy into it per se. That it's certainly not a foregone conclusion.
Oh no, and me neither.
Have some left because they're not sure. I guess over the years. Yeah, but I mean, you can't base everything around it.
No, I 100% agree. I mean, just as many Canadians have left Calgary. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
How many Swedes wanted out of Calgary just last year?
Right. Yeah. I guess we still have 2 left, don't we? 2 left. We got to get rid of them. We got to figure out a way. Got to make room for the kids, man.
Stromgren is Sweden.
Oh, yeah,
Swedish,
he's
I
too.
believe. It
Yeah.
sounds
See.
Swedish.
Yeah, it sounds. Yeah, certainly sounds that way.
Which Swede do we still have? Backlund, I guess.
Backlund and Anderson.
Anderson, yeah.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. What's something you'd love to learn? As an adult, do you make time to learn new things as often as you'd like? Or was that lost in childhood? Kids are always learning and growing, but as adults, sometimes we lose that curiosity. What's something you'd like to learn? Gardening, a new language, or maybe how to finally beat your best friend at bowling. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with your licensed therapist, and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Discover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/THPN today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp. HELP.com/THPN.
For the most part, I've been really impressed with training camp at all positions. I think that once the season starts and all the vets start getting their legs under them, I feel like the Flames are going to be underwater a lot of the time. I feel like they're going to be a fairly efficient offensive team, but a not very efficient defensive team, and that's going to cause some losses, which is fine. As far as I'm concerned, I know we're both on the same page when it comes to rebuilding and a couple more bad years before getting better. And I think that that's important to remember.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes time to look at the season that was for this year, don't pay attention to wins and losses. Look at the development of the players. How are they improving? Where, you know, what was their first month like compared to their last month? What are they looking like? That's what you want to truly focus on.
Mm-hmm. And be excited about it too, right? Like we're watching these, a lot of people are really excited about Matt Coronado right now. Like, be excited about these players.
100%.
They're gonna make mistakes at the NHL level, but it's okay. They're learning. Like it'll be good. It'll be a fun season, and I think I want to hear what you guys have to say. Everyone listening, let us know who you've seen in training camp that you've really been impressed with, or maybe that you haven't been so impressed with. Maybe let us know who some of your favorite prospects are, and who you'd like to see the Flames move in a trade over the next couple months.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, I mean, I'm super excited about this season. I'm glad and I'm happy about the direction that we're going.
Yeah.
But for me, I would be more excited if we didn't have such a log jam in both forward and defensive positions. You know what I mean? I feel like we're still stifling and not allowing enough of the youth to come in and give us a chance to see what we have and kind of get excited about the future. Like really, we're going to see one, I'd say maximum 3 on the team this year, maybe, if we're able to do that.
Yeah, and like it's good to have veterans, but if you think about it, like you got Uyghur, you got Anderson, which you need, right? You need like 2 good NHL defensemen.
Yeah.
But
in my opinion, that should be it.
Yeah, and then I think you need like maybe 3 really strong veteran forwards up front, and we've got like 8 of them, right?
Exactly.
You need the guys to teach the young guys how to be pros and help them develop, but you don't need so many that you're holding them back, right? And I also think it's worthwhile mentioning, like, Miramonov has looked good, but I think he's like 26 or 27.
Mm-hmm.
He
I
doesn't.
mean,
He's not like in the long-term plans for me. I don't know if he's in the long-term plans for Craig Conroy or not, but I don't think he is. I think
I
that
wouldn't think.
him being on the Flames is just kind of a placeholder.
Yeah. Yeah,
And it's kind of
exactly. That's
stifling those
me.
young guys.
Exactly. Exactly. If he's not in the plan for the future, why is he here at the moment? You know,
Exactly.
that's me. I don't know. I'm weird like that though. I want to see more than half of the roster be the kids and see what we have. So is that in 2 years, 3 years, those guys have developed and played together and they're looking like a team. You know, that's
Yeah,
just I think I'm weird like that. I know a lot of players or sorry, a lot of fans want to see wins and get that. I get that, but I think
I want to
I
see a
think
long
like
and sustained formula for winning, not
yeah,
hey, let's get excited about preseason and say, okay, well,
yeah,
now it's time to fucking trade for Dougie Hamilton, right?
right, yeah, yeah, about that. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, it's easy for the fan base to get excited, right? When you outscore your opponents, like was it like 18 or 19 to
And it's
5,
exciting. Get
right?
excited. It was
It,
18-5, I think. Yeah.
oh yeah, you're right. 6-6-6. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's exciting, right? It
Yeah.
gives you a good feeling. It makes you want to watch these kids play, right?
100%.
And then we're gonna go opening day roster, and we're gonna have Mantha and Backlund and Coleman, and it's just gonna be like the same look, right? We were
Yeah,
literally not gonna add anybody to the team other than one or two spots on the forward position. That's it.
exactly.
It's a shame.
And like, if they're so dead set on playing Mantha with Huberto, then that leaves Coronado playing with what, Hunt and somebody else on the floor, like, getting 8 minutes a night. Like,
Yeah,
I think he's
exactly.
proven this preseason that he's ready for more than 8 minutes a night. And, in my opinion, anyways, like, that's just my biggest issue with the
I mean,
roster construction of the Flames currently. But I'm still
yeah,
excited for the youth because I do think that we have enough exciting young players that it's going to be an exciting season. I just am anxious, I suppose, to see how they all get fit in throughout the season.
yeah, that's fair. And like even with me saying earlier that I haven't been super impressed with Coronado's game so far in the preseason, I would still much rather him get minutes over Mantha.
Yeah, and it's
Right?
like, and I know that Peltier hasn't been eye popping this preseason, but if you rewind back to Sothers last year,
Mhm.
you look at the guys, the Brett Richies and the Nick Richies and the I can't even think
Right.
of who else was on that squad, in the bottom of that squad, but like those guys were playing instead of Peltier. And at
Yeah.
that time, Peltier was actually playing fairly well
Yeah.
and looked like an exciting young player for us. And we were out of
Yeah.
the playoff picture.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta make room for some of these guys, right?
You have to make room for them, or else that's more of a threat for guys leaving than Americans, in my opinion. Right? Like
Well,
if
yeah,
you're just gonna stick them in the A and keep them there till they're 26, 27, they're gonna fuck off, right? Like
yeah. Doesn't matter who they
it's
are or where they're from,
yeah,
right? If they're
they
not getting
they're
the
they're here to.
opportunity they deserve.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate the way things are working out. I was super excited about how Craig was rebuilding, and then and then we do this weird off season and sign a couple of vets for whatever reason.
I'm not convinced. I've heard I think Frank Saravalli said something about Barry being almost a lock to be signed. I don't know if I buy that. I would like to see him not be signed, but I suppose we will
100%,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, I still believe in Craig. I think that he will make the room if the room needs to be made.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. I just don't. I guess I'm having a hard time seeing where the room is, but I'm also not paid for it. So,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he has a plan. And given how he made out with his moves last year, I'm going to let him play out his plan.
100%. Is there anything else you want to add, or I mean, it's only been 3 or 4 games of camp, but
let's go, baby. 24-25 season is just a couple of weeks away. Like
hockey's back.
yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
Super
make sure
excited.
you check out the Rocky Mountain Maniacs on Spotify. Like
Yep.
I said earlier,
Link will be below.
Link will be below. Yeah, really good rock and roll music. Absolutely loving it. And big thanks to them. And go Flames, go.
Go Flames, go. Till next time, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.